Did you ever talk to him about what could happen as a journalist in Russia?
No, but I trusted him. I trusted his judgment. Of course, it makes things more difficult for me now because I feel that I've failed in some way as a father.
The family of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich is speaking out for the first time since he was detained in Russia on March 29th.
It was a shock. At the same time, I had this uncertainty and...
You have the mother's sixth sense.
Yes, that's why I reached to him on Monday, and on Wednesday he got arrested.
Evan was detained during a reporting trip to Yekaterinburg. He was brought to Moscow and accused of espionage, an allegation the Wall Street Journal, his family, and the U.S. government strongly deny.
We're making it real clear that it's totally illegal what's happening.
For Evan's family, his arrest is the latest chapter in their long and complex history with Russia.
It was just like crushing, totally crushing. That experience all came back from the Soviet Union.
Evan comes from a family of survivors of the Holocaust, of Joseph Stalin's brutal repression, and of anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union. What did it mean for your family to be Jewish in that region at that time?
My mother would put those, which were called soldiers' blankets, so thick, like 2 of them on the windows to light up the candles, so other neighbors wouldn't see that we were, like Jewish or anything like that.
In 1979, Evan's parents Ella and Mikhail fled the Soviet Union separately. They emigrated to America and ended up working together in New York City.
And that's where I met him.
At work?
At work.
Yeah, we merged.
The couple settled in New Jersey and had 2 kids. And while they embraced life in the U.S.,
Happy birthday to you.
They raised Evan and his sister Danielle with the Russian language and Russian traditions.
Evan, произнеси тост.
Even taking them back to Russia in 1999.
Our parents raised us to have pride in where we come from. We got to be proud of where we come from and tried to share that as much as we could in school.
At home in the U.S., Evan fell in love with sports and learned to play cello. What do you remember about Evan when he was little?
Very, very curious from early age.
He loved having fun. That was his thing. He always had questions about everything. So he just has this need to know, desire to learn deeper and find out meaning in things.
Evan's curiosity and fun-loving spirit would go on to serve him well as a journalist. And colleagues say that his Russian heritage and language skills set him apart from other Russia correspondents when he took his first reporting job in Moscow.
His Russian got insanely good. He was reading books as fast as he could, just downloading Russian culture and getting to that really high fluency level. The passion really developed once he was there and really immersed and kind of discovering it. It's also such a different Russia than my parents knew.
Did you notice any changes in him?
He would tell me that he understood certain nuances of what my parents were saying better than he had growing up. He understood a deeper context to it.
Evan's love for Russia grew as he made friends and traveled around. And he became a bridge to the vast and complicated country, not just for Westerners reading his stories, but for his own family that had fled.
He had so many friends, and everything was so nice. So we saw Russia through his eyes. Everything was exciting and everything was beautiful.
Did it change your opinion of the country where you grew up?
It's not like opinion, it's like I accepted new Russia.
After stints at the Moscow Times and AFP, Evan joined the Wall Street Journal in January of 2022.
He was so happy. This is the place he wanted to be, and we were so immensely proud of him.
What was it like for you to read about Russia through his reporting?
I'm just in awe of him. We're so different. I'm a homebody. He's a thrill seeker, an adventurer. I can't even relate to him sometimes in the life he leads as a reporter. I think the America reports on Russia sometimes in a way that makes it seem like a pretty terrifying, cold place. He was really passionate about showing other sides to Russia, the nuance and the beauty of it.
A month after Evan started at the Journal, Russia invaded Ukraine. And as the war carried on, Evan became one of a small number of foreign journalists reporting from Russia and was accredited to do so by the Russian Foreign Ministry.
He said that I'm just one of the few left there. I know that he felt like it was his duty to report to, and he loved Russian people,
He still does?
He still does, yes.
Though reporting from the country grew more dangerous for journalists, Evan traveled across Russia to shed light on one of the biggest news events in a generation, talking to citizens who rallied behind the military effort and those who opposed the invasion. He also reported on the country's neighbors, allies, and decision-makers. And in December, he published a detailed piece about the mindset of President Putin and his inner circle.
I think when that article came out about Putin in December, got me worried a lot. Like, my mood was changing.
Ella and Mikhail said they continued to check on Evan during a reporting trip in March. Your son is now detained in a land you both fled.
When we came to visit him in 2018, I said to him that this is the country that I left, and this is the country that you love. And he said, what an interesting thought.
Do you wish you would have tried to stop him from going there?
It's impossible.
Of course.
Right.
I couldn't have stopped him when he was 15, let alone now.
When was the last time you saw Evan?
The last time I saw him was at my wedding. He gave this amazing speech at the dinner table. I was going to ask him for a copy, and now I'm kicking myself I didn't ask for one. You can just see how observant he is and just how he saw our relationship, and it was just, it was beautifully written, of course.
How do you imagine he is right now?
You've met my parents. They're incredibly strong, strong people, and I think he has their strength. Hopefully he's writing. I know he's reading. Yeah, I was hoping he could make friends. I know that's probably a silly thing to say, but I can see him making friends in there.
His face is everywhere in the U.S.
Yeah.
Is that helpful for you, or is it painful for you?
It's strangely helpful for me. It's terrifying refreshing the news and seeing article after article, but it's also great seeing his face.
How are you preparing yourself for the road ahead?
My family, his incredible friends, his incredible peer network, we're going to do whatever it takes. And we're just going to stay positive.
It's what's one of the American qualities that we absorbed. Be optimistic, believe in happy ending. That's where we stand right now. But I am not stupid. I understand what's involved, but that's what I choose to believe.